Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming, devices, content, pretty much anything that you guys want us to talk about. I am Clyde. Today I am joined by Michael Aston.
Hello.
Jimmy Trammell.
Evening, everybody.
And Matthew Ross.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
A little tired, but hey, this is definitely the highlight of my week.
It is flu season. I'm surrounded by sick kids.
Sick kids. Well, that's kind of your job.
Yeah, kind of.
You
sick in many ways. I deal with them. They're sick on the computers. Otherwise, the teachers take care of them. Otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you work at a government biological testing location.
State level, yeah, not federal, but yes, you're right.
And then you come home and then have to deal with that. You're not there.
And then I have one more who's actually also a little sick. He's got a little bit of stuff. So.
See, sometimes there are perks to having your children live with their other parent in a different city.
Oh.
Gotta find there's that silver lining, right?
Goodness sakes.
But hey, something happened when we finished the show last week.
What happened?
Did
we get somebody donate us a snowblower?
No, but I definitely needed one the other day. Oh my god!
Did somebody on the internet put us, give us a big shout out on a really popular channel?
Well, no, Tom did shout out the movie party, but not us. No, but we did finally reach affiliate status with the Twitch here, and W. Scottus 1 just did something. I saw a shark dancing in the bottom corner.
He just
So I think he figured it out. We have reached affiliate status. We are now able to accept subscriptions. We're able to do cheers. We're able to get bits. It's
what are we gonna do with that? I mean, that doesn't sound like anything useful to us. Goodness sakes, what are we gonna do? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. What in the world?
Oh, well, what are we? What, about a year and a half into this now?
Like I said, we don't need it.
Yeah, so this is what we were shooting for. We are there now. We just got to figure out what the heck are we gonna do. What
a great start!
I say because partner is kind of way out of our range. So, yeah, toss all those bits and those emotes, as W. Scottus once said.
An interesting sound. What's that?
Sorry about that. I thought about muting my phone and then didn't.
Okay.
Whoops.
Alrighty, well then, hey, with that out of the way, why don't we get into a little bit of this news?
So we're going to start the news with a little sad story. If you're an Amazon Prime member who pays per month, sorry to tell you this, but you're going to be paying a little bit more. They've raised the price by $2 to $12.99 for the monthly plan. They did not touch the yearly plan, which is $99 a month. So they're obviously, my guess is they're seeing some users who are basically using it to binge, and they want to make a little bit more money off those people. Like Clyde.
Yeah, see, I was very happy when they finally went to a monthly, because I have trouble shelling out $100 in one shot when there's only like 2 or 3 months that I actually want to use it.
It's still an overall huge savings.
Yeah, but now it's the same price as I'm paying for Hulu with no commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely buy anything from Amazon, so the shipping doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I'm kind of angry about this, because at $10 I was okay, but now I'm at the point where I'm like, Okay, maybe I'm
Unlucky.
gonna wait even longer. You know,
It's
to
unlucky
read.
$13. $13 a month, man. Is that $3 extra that's just kind of kills it for you?
That's like everything I get from the Movie Party Patreon. Although
Well,
most of the movies we've been watching have been on Amazon, so that is kind of paying for that right now. But yeah,
I don't know, kind of interesting the timing though, isn't it? Right after the Golden Globes, then the price goes up.
it's a good point. I said that would be an interesting thing to look into. It's a very good point.
Yeah, I think they won a couple of awards there, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's also that is an interesting assessment. It's also the first of the beginning of the year. It's also a few months after Netflix raised their rates. So there's a lot of moving pieces here that could attribute to it. But absolutely, if they've get a little bit more recognition. But they've gotten a lot of recognition in the past and haven't jacked rates up every time. So
yeah. And I have to say, $2 more a month. I mean, to me, I think it's worth it to go on the yearly plan anyway, because we buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. But for the content they're putting out, and all, and you get the shipping pitched in there. I think it's worth $2 more. I mean, it's I don't think you're losing a whole lot. I mean, a couple of bucks more, and you're getting award-winning content.
and they're canceling my shows left and right.
The only thing in your case, though, Clyde, it does prod you to want to go for that year subscription.
Actually, it's making me want to do that less, because not only they're raising the price, they are canceling like the shows I actually care about. So I've got even less incentive to do that.
What show was it, Clyde?
Well, they just canceled Red Oaks, and I heard they just canceled. They're not going to even consider giving JeanClaude Van Damme a second.
Really?
The show I Love Dick.
That was the one
it
I
was
was
okay. I
that was
wasn't
the one
really
I was
cared
wanting to hear
about
you say there, Clyde.
Yeah, that show is very misleading. I did not watch it for a long time because of the name. I was like, I don't think that's something I'm into. But then, but
Hey, that's the kind of show name that would just turn off an entire swath of people from watching it.
oh yeah,
including myself.
absolutely. It's just you see that and you go,
Nope.
no.
You just go, nope. But here's the interesting thing: them pushing $2 more off of these monthly subscriptions makes me wonder how many billions they're going to make overnight doing that. You know what I mean? Just by doing that, and how many people just suddenly. It's just,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see if they push people off a cliff or not. But yeah, rock on. They got a business to run. They will do what they need to do. I mean, they're already losing heaps of money in Prime by itself every year. So
the thing for me, I think Prime is interesting, and I think it's well worth it. I like that they didn't change the annual price, so as effectively this doesn't impact me at all. I gotta say, while you say that they're losing money on Prime, I don't know that bears out, because if you look at the story we had, what was it, 1 or 2 weeks ago, while they do spend a lot of money on shipping and stuff like that, the spending habits and spending behavior of individuals that have Prime is very different, and even more so as we saw in that story last week, for people that have the Amazon Echo, right? Like the Echo spenders were spending well over $1,000 a year with Amazon. So it may seem like they are losing money, but I suspect they've done the math and they realize that it's probably just less profitable, but a net increase in sales, so they make lower margins, but net more money in total, or at least are close to making that happen.
Well, if that's the case, it should they should probably be. This is a very good decision on their part. They're probably going to make tons of money with this decision, and I have no doubt it's going to be fine for them. So,
and the fact that they didn't increase the annual price is confirmation for me for that. What they're really wanting to do is drive people to annual Prime subscriptions so that they have a lower likelihood of canceling Prime because maybe they finished the show that they want to watch or whatever. It quickly becomes a math problem that they can say, well, look, I get 2 months free if I just subscribe. I might as well, and it's actually way better than that, right? Because now it's $12 a month,
right.
So it's $144 a year. So they get $44 a month or a year less. It's almost a 33% savings. So they look at that and they say, look, this is a huge savings for me. I'm just going to go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, people like Clyde, well, they want to fight the system anyways, so they're not going to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I am thankful because the pricing went into effect the 18th of this month, but for current subscribers, it's not going into effect till 18 February. So I still have time to turn off my account, which I was probably going to be doing soon anyway, depending on when Mozart in the Jungle and Bosch come back.
I was about to say, Bosch is about to be released. Right?
But yeah, as long as they drop it all in one shot, if I wait until Mozart in the Jungle comes out too, then I can subscribe for $12, watch both the shows, and then unsubscribe again.
Yeah, and to be fair, like that is a very good approach, right? Like even if you use Amazon for a lot of shopping at holidays, most of your big expenditures are centered around a certain number of days of the year. So those months might be good months to catch up on your shows and do your shipping and stuff like that. And then, you don't have to necessarily subscribe all of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't rag on Clyde too much because I essentially do the same thing with Showtime. Every year when they release the show Billions, I subscribe long enough to watch the show Billions, and then I cancel the subscription.
Which is what I'm doing with Stars right now.
it's okay. I'm okay with ragging on Clyde all we want. We can rag as much as
That's why Clyde's here.
I know. Well, that's why I'm here. You guys can rag on me. It's mutual.
See,
It's mutual ragging.
We all have our roles to play. See, I'm the fight the system guy that you guys can rag on, and then we all get to gang up on Jimmy when it comes to Apple. So
Yeah.
I think we got an Apple story in here that we can
Somewhere.
But
Get ready, Jimmy. It's coming
Get
up.
ready.
Actually, we're going to move to a story about a company called Locast. It's a kind of. Do you remember a company called Aereo made a little splash a couple years ago, trying to give local companies over the internet, local television over the internet? Kind of went to Supreme Court. Kind of got denied the ability to do what they were doing. It kind of went out of business, kind of thing. Well, Locast is a similar project, but they are only in one market at this time, which is New York City. What they're doing is they offer themselves as a non-for-profit company, which basically gives them a loophole where they don't have to. They can kind of get around the requirements of that area we're having to deal with, and by doing that and keeping it only to the local area, they are offering it for free. And you can watch almost all those local channels in New York City without an antenna over the internet.
I want to say good for them, but that is such a terrible name.
Why? Okay, why don't you like Locast?
Because every time I look at it, I see locusts.
Oh, gotcha.
And locusts are not something that anybody wants in their house.
It's local cast.
I get the reasoning. It's sound, but
It's not sound, because you're absolutely correct, Clyde. That was exactly my sentiment as well. It sounds and looks like Locust.
Yeah, I can understand the engineering side of it, why you would choose it, but yeah. I mean, I had to read it 3 times before I realized, oh, it's not Locust, because your brain looks at a word, you only read the beginning and the end, and then your brain fills out the rest, right?
Yeah.
And see, and yet I took it a little bit differently. When I saw low CAS, I thought it meant like low cost.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was looking at it. So.
Which I think is the way they want you to.
Maybe. So it's interesting. If you are within the New York City area, you can go to their website. You don't have to sign in. Believe it or not, you can just go without a sign in. Click on the channel you want to watch, and it just starts streaming for you right away, which is amazing. So that's awesome. The other news that they wanted to let people know is that they are beginning to expand to other markets. It looks like they're looking to move to Boston and Milwaukee. Who knows?
Really, you just need a VPN in New York, Boston, or Milwaukee.
Yeah, what it uses your browser's location services to figure out, make sure you are in New York City. And if you can fool that, which I'm pretty certain you can, you can spoof that pretty easily. You can watch whatever you want.
Well, you
Don't
just
steal
change
television
your
shows.
computer time to be East Coast, and then that way you've got a leg up, and then your browser looks at the system and says, "Oh, East Coast."
No, it has other ways of doing that
I'm
too.
kidding.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Sounds great. That's really easy to do. So that sounds like I can watch my free broadcast TV over the air as long as I'm willing to watch New York's TV.
All right, we're gonna move on to the story that we were going to talk to Jimmy about. We have so Apple has finally announced when they're going to be releasing the Apple HomePod. It's officially going to be released on February 9th. And pre-orders are going to happen. I actually didn't see the date when the pre-orders are happening, but they're happening sooner than that.
I think it's this Friday.
This Friday.
Yeah,
okay.
it said the 9th, I thought.
No, that's
February
what-
9th.
The pre-orders
Gotcha.
are this Friday.
Yeah, the
and
pre-orders
then,
this Friday. Yeah.
So this is the Apple's first foray into the intelligent smart speaker, and they announced it over a year ago, I think. It's going to have Siri built in, and we'll see how they can do if they're entering the market this late. Now, traditionally, Apple has come in late into a market and ended up dominating it because they watched the whole scene, saw where they could be awesome and where they could just kind of like engineer around the problems everybody else has had and make an awesome system. The question is, can they do that with this $350 speaker that also is announced to be missing a couple features when it's released, like no stereo and no multi-speaker audio.
Yeah, multi-room capability. They won't have it out of the box. They'll have it with a software update later on.
The sad thing is, this has been in development since 2012. 2012, and this is all you get after 5 years of development?
It's going to be beautiful. That OLED display on top is going to be absolutely blow your mind.
It reminds me of something. I keep
you know,
looking
the
at the
whole-
picture, and it looks like something that was already on the market, and I can't remember what it was, which doesn't bode well for...
Well, there is an existing Bluetooth speaker. It's not a smart speaker.
It's the JBL speaker, I think, that looks like
that's
that.
it.
Yes.
JBL looks exactly like a small version of this.
It's like
Now,
a
that
wicker
one is,
football.
like,
Yeah.
roughly this big, right?
Yeah.
And this, my understanding is, this one is like about that big, right? It's a pretty beefy.
It's like I would assume that's around the same size as like a regular Google Home.
Yeah. I thought it was quite a bit larger than that, about 50% larger.
I think it's about 8 inches tall and about 5.5 inches wide, something like that.
Yeah, so it's noticeably larger than the Google Home, but it's not like massive. It's 6.8 inches high, 5.6 inches wide.
Yeah,
and it weighs 5.5 pounds.
I mean, it's this whole smart speaker, market. I don't know. I don't quite get it really. The whole smart speaker thing. I mean, anybody. I mean, Amazon. Google, all of them. I don't really get any of them all that much. I mean, I get it. I understand what it's for and that kind of thing. But to me, it's like it's not all that interesting. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll try one of these. Maybe I'll get one of these in one of Amazon's and just try them out one day. I keep saying, yeah, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
But what would be more interesting to me and more in line with cord cutting would be a smart home theater system, right? Give me that. That's what I'd really like to have. This here is, okay, you can say, whatever key phrase, give me the weather or play a podcast, that kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, is that worth getting one of these things for?
So here's the thing, Jimmy. I'll address a couple of points that you brought up. First of all, I get where you're coming from. My parents never thought that it would be of any real consequence to them. I bought them an Echo Dot for Christmas. Since then, they bought 2 more Echo Dots and a bunch of little devices for their house. I bought them an Echo Dot and a light bulb. And so since then, like I said, they bought some more switches, some more bulbs. They bought a Ring doorbell. They bought a couple of extra dots. So they've decided, they've seen the value now and quickly realized that this is a really cool thing. And there's a lot of little things that you can do with it, none of which individually by themselves would justify even the $40 or $50 price of a dot. But in accumulation, they actually provide a pretty cool little added feature set, right?
Yeah.
It's just it just makes things a little bit easier, and there's enough little things that are easier that it becomes a great tool, and it's nice.
Yeah, it's one of those things that until you actually live with it, because I couldn't figure out. I was like, why do I want one? And then I picked that one up Black Friday, and I use it all the time.
Yeah,
I know
but let me ask you this, Clyde. Let me ask this though, and for whoever owns one, right? So if somebody came in and just took away your smart speaker right now, would you really miss it all that much?
Actually,
to me, that's the difference.
Yeah, because I no longer forget to set the timer on the stove, on the oven. I just, when I put something in there, I yell at it, set timer for whatever, and then a lot of times I would set the timer and go in another room, and I would forget. And even though that timer is beeping downstairs, I can't hear it. This thing is beeping on all of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that it can do that just make things easier. And so I would definitely miss it if it was gone. Would it be life-changing? No, it wouldn't be earth-shattering or life-changing. But I would definitely notice it missing, Just checking the weather, which I often didn't do. I opened the garage door and found out that it was cold or wet or whatever. It only saves me 30 seconds, but it's just a nice feature. My kids can play music on it. My 5-year-old wouldn't be able to play music on the TV because she can't type, right? So she can't ask for a specific song of the TV, but she can ask the Echo to play the music that she wants, and it understands her a fair amount of the time, even though she does not speak particularly well. So there's just a ton of little things. My shopping list, being able to just, like, while I'm cooking, and I use the last of the spaghetti sauce, for example, I can just shout it out, hey, add this to my shopping list. And it's there. I don't have to remember to add it later, because that was the thing. Like, I always forgot to add it, because if I didn't say it the second that I thought about it, I would never remember to add it. And then we'd get to the grocery store, we wouldn't know what we needed, and we'd forget a bunch of things, and you end up making trips to the grocery store 3 or 4 times a week. Now it has actually saved us money, because we go to the grocery store less, because we actually know what we need. So it's all little things, but very nice. The other thing I wanted to address was the smart home theater. I just bought a Harmony One home hub, and that integrates with Amazon Echo. And so I can actually make voice commands. Hey, let's watch TV. And it will then utilize that hub to turn on my TV and turn on my Fire TV and set everything up correctly and to play my TV. And I can do voice commands directly to it to listen to music and stuff through my home theater system. So that is all capable of happening, and that system also works with Google Assistant. So it's not Echo exclusive. It does not work with the Apple TV stuff because Apple would never concede to that, because you got to buy all Apple products in order to have a good experience.
I would resist that.
Yeah, you got to be there to keep us
you,
honest. But you get what I'm saying.
System, and that works with HomeKit. Yeah. So I mean, Apple doesn't make those.
Harmony will honestly probably add Apple integration now that the Apple has a smart speaker. That's my suspicion. It's not there yet because they didn't have a smart speaker that provided voice activation in a standard room, right?
But I have to say this, Mike. You're convincing me that maybe I should give one of these things a try. Right? I'll probably end up getting one. Just for that. Just to try it and see how I like it. And when that happens, I'll let you know. I'll go try one of these. I'll get one of these or an Echo. Either one. Either one of those would be the one that would make most sense to me. And give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I really always wanted when I was growing up is I wanted to be able to talk to my house like the people on the Enterprise would talk to the computer on the ship and say, "Computer, locate this thing. Tell me how far this thing is," and it would answer back with information. And that's exactly what I could get with it. So that's the dream for me, and I got it now. It's great.
Yep. And W. Scottish One makes the point that the Echo Dot is a lot more conversational, but the Google Home has a lot of the commands already there. You don't have to add them after the fact. So, yeah,
everybody's going to improve.
I'm
all
curious.
Get better.
I'm curious to see. Obviously, there's going to be a demand for this device, the HomePod. There's going to be a demand from the Apple devotees. But as you pointed out in the chat, I'm curious to see if there will be any interest outside of those fanboys or whatever you want to, the devotees. I
use that term lightly, not as a
no. That's why I said air quotes. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Notice I didn't spell it DOI.
Yeah, well, everybody's got their ecosystem.
No, exactly. But the Echo. And the Google Home seem to be a lot more cross-platform. But, yeah, I'm curious if you'll see that same thing with the HomePod.
So if you go up to an Echo and say, "Hey, Google," it answers?
If it does.
The Google one that you saw at the store that was really big?
Oh, that was the Google speaker, the HomePod, or the home speaker, yeah.
Yeah, because the one thing I was going to mention was that is also that's really the kind of the Google competition to this, which
that's the Google competition to the Apple speaker, which isn't being released anytime soon.
Right, but that one has Google Assistant in it, doesn't it?
Yes, but no, I was saying the article we're talking about doesn't include the speaker, the Apple speaker yet. That was announced back at the Apple announcement, but it's not available for.
Oh, I thought this. I guess I misunderstood.
This is a completely different device.
The HomePod speaker.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the HomePod speaker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this is the speaker itself, and so that's what that was. They beat this to market with a high quality sound system. Though I was trying to figure out. Do you remember what that price was on that? Wasn't that $400?
Are you talking about
for the Google one? You mean? Yeah. It's $400, but
this comes in a little bit higher, which was a little surprising to me because, as a general rule, Apple tends to be the slightly more expensive solution and tries to provide a better design, a better interface, a better interaction for a slightly higher price.
Yeah, well, I think Google was trying to go big on quality sound, and I don't know if they succeeded. And I don't know if that's if it's a great product or not. I have no idea. I've never seen one, never heard one, but I know that was the goal for that guy, and so I think they decided that they'd go high cost if they had to make it work.
And it's the Max. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what I said. The Max.
Google Max.
That's right.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be it'll be interesting to see how well the Apple does. And I bet you anything, you should never bet against Apple. 8 times out of 10 they hit one out of the park when it comes to new products. It's an awesome product of some kind.
Yeah. Maybe 8 times out of 10, but even I will say not always, right?
Not all. No.
I would contest that they hit it out of the park maybe 3 or 4 times out of 10 as it's released, but within an iteration or two, they have that being the top product on the market.
Sure,
right.
Sure.
Like the Apple TV, it took two or three iterations before it was a really good product. The Apple Watch, third iteration, made it a good product. The Apple iPod, even the first iPod was not good at all. The second generation of it was rather good. So they have a history of getting it out early and then making it amazing very quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to move on to a story from Netflix. They are going to be giving some time to some people who are stand-up comics that are not that big. Actually, they're giving some lesser-known comics their own 15 minutes of fame on the internet by giving them their own little 15-minute shows on Netflix. A bunch of different guys. But how many is this? Like 10 different guys there, men and women, who are getting their own little mini specials that you will be able to watch in mid-February. Looks like. It's being recorded in February. I don't know when it'll be coming out. Where you will be able to get to see some small talent, and maybe some of them will make it big.
Rock on. That's all I got to say.
I like this. I'm going to watch this when it comes out. I think this is going to really be good.
You know, we've seen this before, but it's nice to see it where it's not a competition or it's not gamified in any way. When it's just, it's like this, what we're doing, but for comedians, you know, very low barrier to entry, and that'll be cool.
So, does anybody know if this is going to be a single show with all these 15-minute acts, or is it going to be individual 15-minute shows?
I don't know. My understanding from when I first heard about it was they would put out episodes with, comprised of a couple, and then they would just keep churning them out. So over time, you may get like a whole bunch of them drop at one time, and then 6 months later you get more. But I'm interested to figure out how they do it. So,
hey, Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
So next movie party.
Okay.
You want to do it in VR?
Yeah.
How?
Plex has just announced today the new way of watching their movies, which is how you can watch it in virtual reality. You are now able to use any Daydream compatible device, like Android phones that are Daydream compatible, and be able to watch the Netflix, the Plex interface right there on the screen with virtual surroundings around you. You can actually log in with friends and have conversations with them. You can virtually make things bigger and the screen bigger and smaller, and move to, like, when you pull one of the posters down, it becomes a little info guide for you. And it's an amazing little device which you can do that with. What the coolest thing is, you can pick up the stuff in the room, like the popcorn or the soda cans, and you can toss them around the room. It's the coolest little thing ever.
Okay, this took me by surprise because I didn't have this article up before. But what happened to the rest of your friend? That's like, okay, if anybody's used the VR version of Netflix, you know what it's like, where you can sit there and you look around and there's like nobody else in the room, and it's kind of creepy, and it's kind of even if you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people, it's kind of creepy, right? Because all of a sudden you feel like you're all alone. That is even creepier than looking over and not seeing anybody on the couch. You look over and you see like a stump of your friend.
Oh, now click on
look
the
at
other
the name.
photo. Click on that other photo, the one right next to it.
Oh, hold on. I gotta get over there. Ah, that's even worse.
You got to look at the name. His name is Larva. He just hasn't fully developed a body yet. He's working on it.
He's larvae number 1 too. You haven't met his brother and sister.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I like the idea. They need to make it less creepy.
So
But,
sometime if you get the chance, watch the video. They have a YouTube video on it. They allow you to have yourself in a big drive-in movie theater, or you can honk the horn as you're watching the show. You can be in this nice loft of this really fancy-looking penthouse kind of a place here, and also you can watch movies in space.
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
this is what I've been wanting for a lot of things, especially like stuff like Discord, where everybody kind of gets in the same room and just chats.
Yep,
Something like this would be cool. But yeah,
it's gonna come, and I'm excited. So I'm gonna try it out. And since it's available, it's available.
So
now,
if you're willing to host everybody on your Plex server, then maybe we can do that.
I don't know if it can handle a lot of people. We'll see.
See, there's the problem. I don't know. I love everybody that comes out to the movie parties, but I don't know if I want to give them access into my network. That's the nice thing about the way we do it. We're connecting to somebody else's server.
Right.
All right.
This is the coolest thing for VR I've seen in a while, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
So. All right, we're going to move on. We have a company called Tenga, and I don't remember Tenga that much. Tegna. I'm sorry, did I get the N and the G backwards? Tegna. That's a parent company behind many of the broadcast television stations in the United States. They're putting money into Tubi TV, which is a streaming service, which is an interesting move. It means that there's going to be... Are they looking to possibly move and sell all their stuff to streaming?
I don't know because, I saw this and I'm always happy to get any new news about Tubi. Tried them out a while back after we got some other news, and it's a great service. It's ad-supported free video content. For those of you that aren't aware, think of like something like Crackle. More money and more content, that's always a good thing. So, Tegna, good on you.
I think one of the things that they talk about that's probably a big thought for them is digital advertising, right?
Yeah.
I mean, advertising right now is somewhat dumb. They have some idea of the types of demographics of people that are watching different shows from Nielsen and stuff, but digital advertising can be orders of magnitude more intelligent and more focused. So it's a lot more effective. And if they can get a good digital advertising on their streaming, on their broadcasts, then they're going to do way better. Or at least stay competitive.
We need more of these advertised style networks out there to really. I mean, this is a model that would easily work for a lot of the low budget television shows. Even some of the local stations could possibly go over to advertisement only because they're already getting doing that method anyway. So, but get paid twice sounds fun too.
Still with the name, I still want to say to be or not to be.
I was going to ask if that's what that was. And
Nice
yes, Goodweave, that is his password. So go ahead and try it everywhere before he gets a chance to change it.
No, that is it.
No,
if you know C coder like me, that's Unix C is what that is.
Gotcha.
Logical OR.
So yeah, for all of you out there, if you have not tried Tubi, check it out. It doesn't cost anything. There is absolutely no risk.
It's on Roku.
You got a Roku? fire it up. I'm not sure what other platforms it's on, but I know for sure it's on Roku. So check it out. Cool. All right.
Last story we have is that the Comcast is working with Amazon and AWS as it's trying to figure out how to deal with cord cutters. Looks like it's something that actually, unfortunately, I did not read this article. I didn't have enough time to read this one. What are they doing
so
here?
basically, it sounds like because Comcast is putting more and more of their content in the cloud. Okay. And that requires a lot of infrastructure that they may not necessarily have, to actually serve content to people from the network as opposed to their over the traditional cable as they are prepared to. So it sounds like they may be teaming up with AWS to handle the online or the cloud storage of the content. So, most people, if you go to a website and you are watching their videos or downloading stuff, it's probably, there's a good chance that it's AWS already. And since I know my company uses AWS for stuff, and it's pretty standard across. So I'm not surprised to see them do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, Clyde. That's what it says in the article, that they're using it for compute, storage, and analytics is what they're using it for. So,
yeah.
Well, that's fine. It seems like everybody's been using AWS for any kind of,
Except
I need
Netflix.
to expand my sword. That's right.
Can you imagine if Netflix put all their content on AWS and then Amazon started throttling it and said, "Oh, yeah, you want Amazon Prime, you won't run into these problems," or Amazon started reselling their content because they have, in theory, they could gain access to it, but I would love to see that lawsuit.
That's dystopian future, if you ask me. That's horrible. Don't even talk.
That's the future where everybody's Amazon Echo is running around with Casio Jizai and taking over. So,
hi Amazon, let me help you with a problem. I can help you with a thing. Hi, I'm Amazon.
Well, I mean, Amazon did use AWS. I don't know if they still do, but they were using AWS for a long time.
Well, I should hope so. It's their service.
Amazon.
I mean, Netflix. Netflix is, at least was, I believe it still is, using it for a lot of their feature.
Not for the hosting of the
No, not for the hosting of their content, though.
Right.
Yeah, no.
But it does all their compute and stuff like that, so.
Very cool.
All right, rock on. Unless we got other news, I think that brings us to the thing that apparently isn't running.
Oh, rants and rave about rants and raves.
I thought that thing was fixed. But, all right. Rock on. Hey, it wouldn't be a show without a problem, right?
Now it's official.
All right. Hey, what you guys got? What you got? What's going on?
I can start if you want. So I've been watching, trying to catch up on watching some shows, of course. We've kind of moved away from trying to catch up on X-Files, so we might have to go back to that because it's now officially started and we're missing out on the series now. But that's okay. We'll catch up to that. We did finish Marvelous Miss Maisel, the first season.
What'd
it
you
was
think?
excellent.
Yes.
Excellent in every way. Great series.
They wrapped it up very well.
Very well. I'm very excited to see what happens next season, which I know will end with just another person figuring out what she's been doing all this time. That's just how it's going to end every season. Somebody else figures out what's been going on, who's been ignorant to this point. That's what I'm guessing. But the thing I wanted to talk about was that when I get done with my day, and I'm sitting at my desk at night, and I'm trying to relax, and what I've been doing is watching Awesome Games Done Quick. This is the charity program that speedrunners put together every year now, where they just take video games, some new and old, and do some amazing, super fast speedruns for charities, and specifically they're fighting cancer, and they're amazing, and they're fun, and they talk about how they work together to figure out how to break the games and how they do all the. I spent way too long watching Breath of the Wild, a ROM hack version of Super Mario World. I forget what it's called, and I fell asleep to the guys playing Final Fantasy VI last night. Oh, we're only halfway through the game. That game takes forever.
The worst thing about those games when you fall asleep is the fact that they don't time out. They just sit there. So then you come in and it says you've been playing the game for like 120 hours. And then you have to figure out how many of those hours was I actually asleep. And the timer was just going.
Well, if you're trying to speedrun, you can't do that. Sleeping's not allowed.
No, but yeah, the speedruns, that's crazy. I watched someone do a speedrun of like the original Super Mario Brothers. And I mean, that was ridiculous. And there's all these other games that it's just like, I don't know how they do it.
If you like video games and you like maybe have some nostalgia for a specific one, see if they've got a copy of it that the guys are doing an awesome game. Was it Awesome Games Done Quick or
yes,
Amazing Games Done Quick? It's Awesome Games Done Quick. DQ is what they call it, and watch it. It won't take more than maybe an hour or two of your life, or skip around in the video. It's a VOD, so go ahead and skip forward to the boring parts. It is a blast, though. I did enjoy it.
Great.
All right, who's next?
It's been a while since I threw out one of our podcasting friends from our kind of local community of podcasters. So I want to mention Shannon Morse, Snubs, for her Threatwire podcast. It's technically part of Hack 5, but she's a common contributor to other Diamond Club shows and people that are in Diamond Club. So Threatwire is a security podcast about kind of like what's going on in the hacker world and the web security world and stuff like that. Covers hacks and policy, government rules and regulations that might be happening that are potentially affect you. And it's just always very informative. I learned something pretty much every single episode. They're brief, short. I think they're like 5 to 10 minutes usually, and just kind of go over everything that's happened in the last week. And like I said, it's super informative, super useful. It's a great summary of things, and often it'll give you something that you realize, oh, I don't know enough about this. I'll go do some research and learn about that. And a lot of times those things are available in other Hack 5 podcasts and stuff. So Hack 5, great channel as a whole, particularly like Threatwire. So
yeah,
check it out.
I will say, if you haven't met her in person, make sure you do. She is cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Cool. Jimmy, anything? Down there in the land of sunshine and oranges and alligators?
Yeah.
And no hills.
Absolutely. Yeah, the last couple of weeks we've actually been having to run, not today, but I've been having to run the heat down here a little bit.
These alligators are going to die.
Oh man. Oh no. What, did it hit 50?
Yeah. Believe it or not, when it hits 50, we have to turn on the heat.
Oh no.
But anyway, yeah, so, the show, I think Mike watches this show, has probably watched all of it by now. The Blacklist, back when the show first came out, I watched the first season and loved it. And then, I don't know, just kind of slacked off of it. So I've recently picked it back up, and I'm into the third season now. And I think there's even a fourth season out as well. So really liking that show. It's the, federal agent, clandestine type, show, and I really enjoyed that one. Also, too, I think I mentioned this last week as well. The JeanClaude Van Johnson, that one. Just started watching that one recently. Watched the episode last night. I don't think I'll spoil anything, but Hands of Stone episode. So I won't say anything else. I won't spoil it, right? But yes. Yeah.
Oh no. Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
Clyde. It's very possible that you've lost your audio on the stream.
I don't know why it does
Clyde
that.
can curse and nobody can hear it.
For some reason, all of a sudden, my mic will just auto mute, and I don't know why. Excellent.
Oh, wow.
Your mic did not think that was an appropriate point, and your opinion is not valid. So
And the other mic thinks it's okay.
Yeah. Well, what I was saying was that if I'm going to be really mad if JeanClaude Van Johnson was in fact canceled, because he is filling a hole left in my life by the death of Adam West. In the fact that Adam West was so willing to make fun of himself and go to lengths for the comedy, which is basically JeanClaude Van Damme. The whole show is just him making fun of himself, and it's awesome. So
yeah, it's good. Check it out.
Absolutely. And then me, snow.
Snow.
We just I freaking hate Minnesota. We got dumped on Monday, and they still haven't cleaned it up here in my town, and it's just we got like that much literally in like one afternoon. It took me 4 hours to get home from work. It's a 10-minute drive. Because the people that live here that have to drive in it every year can't figure out how not to get stuck in their all-wheel drive vehicles.
It's actually surprising that over there they're having trouble, because it's a different animal when you use all-wheel drive. You have to know how it works. Jeez, the physics.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. And I'm in my little Civic. The snow is deeper, was basically up to my windows.
Right.
And
you're getting along just fine because it's front-wheel drive.
And it was ridiculous. And I was ready to like murder people. Luckily, I was in I was in corporate Clyde mode, which meant I was wearing nice fancy shoes with no tread. So if I got out of my car and tried to walk up the hill to punch somebody, I would have probably fallen flat on my face. So it required me to stay in my car. So I did not end up in prison.
No people or poodles were punched in the making of this podcast.
No.
And Goodweave just put the link in the chat room there. It turns out that JeanClaude Van Johnson is being canceled.
All right. Amazon, you know what else is being canceled? Oh, well, crap. Now I just realized now Amazon's got me over a barrel, because if I cancel my Prime subscription, I lose my Prime sub for Twitch.
Oh no!
Damn it! I guess I'm spending $100.
Yeah.
Damn you, Jeff Bezos. You too, Ted Twitch.
Yep.
All right. Hey, on that note, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we have reached affiliate status, which means we can now accept subs We can accept bits and cheer, and we can do emotes. So, but I don't know if any of us have the ability to create emotes. Hey, Stripe just subscribed. But so yeah, if you guys have any ideas, you know how to make an emote, or a throw them our way. We'll put them up, and subscribers get those extra fancy things. And if you've got one of those free Twitch Prime subs that you get to throw out, if you want to throw it our way, we would absolutely appreciate that. And definitely we'll have to find a way to reward the people that subscribe. I know other shows do like a patron call-in monthly kind of thing. Or, if you guys have ideas, let us know. I'm not good at figuring out rewards because I don't typically ask for rewards when I subscribe to other stuff. So, we want to make it worthwhile to those that took the time or are taking the time to enjoy and participate in our content, and that the ones that want to give back, we greatly appreciate it. That being said, we will be back next Wednesday, normal time, right here on Twitch, 9 p.m. Central, and send us feedback. We always want to hear from you guys. And those of you watching live right now, stick around. We will go on over to the Showbot, see what kind of titles we have to choose from. And if you're not watching live, you really should, because this is where all the fun is. And you get to hang out afterwards and listen to the stuff that we ramble about when we're kind of technically off the air, but not really. But if it's on YouTube, you don't get to see it. So, all right. With that, guys, should we get out of here?
Yeah.
All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you. Hey, Will, thank you so much for the sub. I actually appreciate that you gave it to us as opposed to all of the other people that you could, or you probably should, have been giving it to. So,
and we'll have to figure out what a cheer is and what all those other things are, since I have no clue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, Will could fill you in on that. He's all up on that. I guess when Badweave disappeared, he gave Will a whole bunch of bits, like an amazing. I think he's still number one as far as bits. And then Goodweave's back.
Cool.
We miss Badweave, but we're glad to have Goodweave. So I have to ask, Goodweave, are you actually the evil twin, masquerading as a good twin?
I just thought he got his weave fixed, and it's no longer bad. It's good now.
Oh, well, maybe. All right, so what do we got? Amazon
go to
is
TPS
Prime. Whoa. Where am I coming
TDS.
from?
Robot.tv. Somebody's got the sound coming back.
I think
I
it's
can hear
Jimmy.
myself. Jimmy!
Jimmy's not talking, but he's lighting up.
Okay, let me see if I can fix this.
You mean something like this?
No.
No.
It didn't
It's all-
actually work. It,
Was,
Whoa,
was all cloud.
Goodweave just cheered 100 bits. Did you see that?
Wow.
Yay.
What does that mean? I'll have to figure this out.
Bits are like basically a penny.
Okay.
So he cheered $1.
what?
I know, it's
How in the
crazy.
world would he do that?
So, should we subscribe now?
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. See, when you subscribed and the dancing shark comes up.
Nah, I have to find my remote. My son has grabbed it somewhere now.
Yay, Jimmy the Geek. Dancing sharks. Dancing sharks. All right, so we've got Amazon Prime, or Amazon is Prime to make you pay a bit more. The Ragging Squad. Comcast. Amazon cancels Johnson. Clyde cancels Amazon.
I like that one.
Actually, that reminds me of a story. I'll come back to you, or I'll come back to it. Comcast. I didn't think that one out when I typed it, so I don't want. Clyde doesn't love Dick, and I actually didn't enjoy that show after I watched it. So that does fit. Comazon, Amicast, Fast Games, and Loose Content. And Shannon Morse is good.
Yes, she is.
Okay, so Amazon cancels Johnson. Clyde cancels Amazon. So when I worked at Best Buy, one of my coworkers, he was talking about how they got a pizza. His family got a pizza, and they left the room. And then when they came back, the dog had pulled the pizza on the ground and was eating it. And then one of my coworkers, Chana, Asian kid, he goes, "In my family, dog eat dinner, dog become dinner."
Oh,
He was kidding, but I laughed so hard. And that's a good motto to live by. Dog eat dinner, dog become dinner.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that reminds me of a funny story. I think everybody knows that my wife is Ukrainian, right? And speaks with an accent. And English, of course, is her second language. And when we, way back when we first got married, and I think it was probably one of the first or second times I had brought her to my parents' house for the Christmas holidays or maybe Thanksgiving, something like that. And so my wife, not being a native speaker of English, would every time she'd hear somebody who did speak English say a word a certain way, she would, is somebody?
Yeah, I gotta roll. My kids need me to put them to bed. It's like an hour late getting to bed. So
carry on. I will shift.
Oh, okay. Yep. No worries. So she used to, so when she'd hear somebody say a certain word, she would repeat that and say it the same way that they would say it, right? Thinking that, oh, he's saying it correctly, I must be saying it wrong, right? So, holidays and all, it was me and a couple of my cousins and my wife, we were all sitting there talking, and we got talking about food, and this kind of thing. And my one cousin who served in the military, and he served for a little while over in Korea, and was talking about the Korean food and all. And then the other cousin says, yeah, but don't they eat like dog over there, right? Yeah, don't they have, isn't dog like a delicacy over there and all that kind of thing?
Some places.
And both my cousins were like, oh yeah, and then my wife says, oh yeah, dog. I like dog. Dog is one of my favorite, right? and I knew what had just happened, but my two cousins were kind of like freaking out, just as soon as she said that, and I was like, no. I said, sweetheart, they're saying, dog, or in Russian you would say собака, right? Собака is what they're saying. Dog, not you thought they said duck.
Oh.
Duck is what you like, right? So not dog. Right.
Well, okay, so I get the sentiment about dogs, and I know that people are really hypersensitive about dogs, and you could have a horrible movie with horrible things happening to the people, but if the dog dies, I understand that concept for people. It's tough, but just imagine what Indian people have to think about us and cows. Okay, they worship those things, and we grind them up and eat them all the time.
See,
So-
that's why I don't judge anybody for what they eat. I had I worked with a senior chief in the Navy, and he's his guy that had a big impact on me after getting to know him. But he's from the Philippines. He grew up in the, I'd say he's probably about my dad's age. So late mid 50s, early 60s was his childhood, and they didn't have money. It was very, very, very poor. And he talked about, basically they had to do whatever they had to do to survive. And there were times where they had no option, but they needed dinner, so they would have to eat whatever their pet was,
Yeah.
And he says, you don't want to have to eat your pet. But
Always keep a pet goat. It's companionship. It's a garbage collector.
yeah, but I mean,
get milk out of it.
Once you've eaten
And when
the
you're
goat,
really
and you
hungry-
still don't have any options, and you get down to the cat.
Yeah. I mean, and I do understand your sentiment there about the Indians there, Matt. I mean, they do worship it, but then again, you've never seen a movie like Lassie, for a cow, right?
Do you
Oh, yeah,
watch much Bollywood?
Actually, not a whole lot.
Old Moor. It's got to move. It's got to be a movie. Old Moor. No.
All right. I am going to end the stream. If you two
All
want to
right.
hang out for a minute. Welcome to Apocalypse Talks with your host, Poodlefetcher. Yes. Tune in next week. We will continue this conversation. Everybody that subscribed, thank you so much. We will see you guys next week. And until then, peace.
See you guys.